The 474th greatest album of all time, asterisk, according to Rolling Stone, is Big Star. That's the band's name. Their album is very presumptively entitled Number One Record. All right. This, I don't. Oh God. Sorry, I'm giving it away. Um, this album was released on April 24th of 1972 out of Memphis. It's produced by John Fry on Ardent Records. It's 37 minutes and 3 seconds long. This is the debut album by this band. I'm gonna start this one off, and I have strong feelings about this record.
Hey, it's Kyle. Just jumping in real quick to ask, do you approve this groove? Let us know in the comments. Give us a quick thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and join the conversation.
And I don't know why. If you were with us last episode, I started off the Bell and Sebastian takedown.
If Tyler's starting it off, you know it's going to be good.
Yeah. So I don't feel quite as strongly for any specific reason as I did the Bell and Sebastian record, but I've listened to this album 3 or 4 times, and I cannot figure out why it's on this list. I don't know why. Like, it says that it says that due to poor distribution, sure, there's a cop out, it sold fewer than 10,000 copies on its initial release, which traditionally is the strongest release of an album. Now, if you don't have enough records to give out to people, sure. But then I read that the singer from this album is quoted as saying, and I say quoted because it was quoted when I read it. I don't have the quote in front of me, and I don't remember. But essentially it was, if you only make 100 records, those 100 records will find their way into the hands of the 100 biggest fans you've got. So there must be some really vocal fans of this band I had never heard of before. They're not the first artist or band to be on this list that I'd never heard of before. But they're the first one that I had not heard of before and was kind of like, all right, who are they friends with that threw them a bone and put them on this list? I will say that I thought upon first listen that I was missing a diamond in the rough only because their song, and I don't even remember its title, was the theme song in the street, was the theme song for that 70s show.
But not even that version.
Right. Okay. So it was the framework for the theme song of that 70s show. Like, enough that I recognized it.
Sure.
But I didn't have cable as a kid, so I didn't have Fox. Fox was not a local channel that came through our antenna. So I didn't grow up watching the 70s show, but I knew enough about it to know it. There was not another single song on this album of any redeeming quality to me. I thought it was super tinny sounding. The vocals were unremarkable. After all that, I didn't like it. I said the same thing last week, and I don't know. I don't get it. Kyle, please help me get it.
I don't think I can. I don't know that I can. I don't feel as strongly about this. This is just a very meh album for me. And like I was saying, even the song that ended up becoming the theme song for that 70s show, their version of that song on this album is so boring that somebody had to cover it to make it worth being the theme song. Like, it's not a bad song, it's a fine song, but their version of their own song is so boring that somebody else had to cover it to make it worth listening to. Yeah. I listened to this a couple of times now too. And I keep coming back to I get through the album and I think, what did I just listen to? Like nothing from this album stuck. Nothing like cemented itself. It just happened. I listened to it and it happened. Nothing sticks out. Go ahead.
Let me pause you right there because you've hit on a thought that I have about people that consume music, and something else that I felt throughout the first couple weeks of this project too at times. I generally think that there are two kinds of music listeners. There's a music listener who lives in the music, really gets into it, been to the live shows, seen enough live bands where they can hear a song and go, oh, this would be a fun one to see live, right? Like that sort of palette and experience. And then there are people who listen to music and enjoy it, but it's just background to their life.
Yep.
So I am a music at the forefront. I think of bands in the same way that some people think of like sports teams.
Yep.
Like I'm a fan of this band and will follow them. And every time they put something out is like another season of getting to watch them or hear them or that sort of thing. This album, maybe one of the reasons I didn't like it was because there was nothing about this album that wasn't just background noise.
Yeah.
So to hear you say what you just said, like that's the best way that I could describe it, and having you say that to me, like, makes sense.
Yeah, and that's exactly like it's incredibly unoffensive, but it's almost offensive how bland it was, because it really just didn't stick. So the one thing that I was curious about with this album, again, like you said, why is this album on the list? And I had started to see here and there, as I was just kind of looking around about it, how many other bands cite Big Star and this album in particular as a particularly influential album. Wilco has mentioned this being a big album for them. The Replacements have. REM was hugely influenced by this. The Counting Crows, which I have a very big soft spot for Counting Crows. I really like the Counting Crows, but I might like them a little less now to hear that they're inspired by. I mean, kidding, obviously, but like I don't. It makes me question myself. It makes me question what do I know? What am I missing? What don't I know? I don't get it.
Yeah, and I don't know. Well, okay, so we know that the top 500 list was made, especially the most recent one, in part by a lot of music critics, but also a lot of artists. So if some of the artists they polled, if enough of them listed this, I could see why this would be at the end of this list, right? 10% of the bands or artists that they polled for this project like cited this. Okay, well then yeah, I can see why it would be on there. But as part of like the world's tapestry of music and people that enjoyed it, like no. I mean, literally by any measure, no. I've referenced awards and sales numbers before. They don't exist for this album. There are none. In fact, the only thing that it says was that it sold less than 10,000 copies. It does say under reception that on its release, it immediately received widespread acclaim and continued to do so for 6 months. Somebody said it was the best album of the year. Billboard said every cut could be a single.
I mean, yeah. What am I missing?
Whatever, man. Like this one was not for me. I gave it a 1.
Oof.
So this is one step above. I hate this. This is, according to my rubric, this is no thanks. Definitely skip. Which, given all I've said, I won't say more. But that's I'm all set. Don't need it.
All done. No, I gave it a 2. So not much better. And for me, that's just like I didn't like it. It was, not interesting.
Do better, Rolling Stone. This is a great one for our segment at the end, and this is a plug for our I've got one better. I've got 1,000 better. Anyways, so that was one of our favorite records of all time. Big Star's #1 record. In at 474.
Hey, thanks for watching. We'd love to know what you think of this album, so let us know in the comments. Do you approve this groove? And as always, a quick thumbs up helps a lot. Subscribe so you can see all 500 albums, and we'll see you on the next record.